attention that the nation secured the event that he came to and participated in as a candidate on the candidates forum. Okay, and there was no listing or no action that he did at that time regarding it being a hate group. So I think that context matters in this conversation, and for us to keep that as a part, or at least as a part of our thinking, because I do feel that behind the scenes that they really are working to delegitimize the work of racial justice now, and also to put the perception out there that since we are affiliated with these groups, we must be haters too. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. My question was, I wanted to deal with racism. I mean, they basically said we want to deal with all racism. Excuse me? All racism? No, there is no way, in my mind, there is no way that you're going to sit up here and try to equate the institution of white supremacy, racism, to black people responding to that? That's right. No, that's the thing. I do not accept it. Neither do I accept that the NOI and the New Black Panther Party are hate groups. Thank you. According to their definition.
Man, I gotta deal with the elephant. I gotta get up. Cause let's deal with the elephant in the room, okay? Come on with that. Who in the hell is that Southern Poverty Law Center? Right. I'm gonna ask that question. Who the hell are they? Right. And when are we going to stop? Because it's a white face. Then all of a sudden, they become credible. Yeah. Right. I mean, when we going to deal with that? When are we going to stop letting folks get away from not even giving black people a damn apology? That's right. Come on. Man. Yes, sir. I mean, it's to a point, Tony Hall from this city, I believe, when he was on CBS, they asked that man, when do you think that America will come to grips to offer an apology with some contrition? Right. He said maybe by 2050. Right. So we're sitting up here talking about Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, really? But let me say this right here, because to me, and that's when I talk to my sister, you know, see, we're taught, Sister Randall, Professor, to fight skilled fighters. Skilled fighters. And the SPLC to us ain't skilled enough, Marlon.
Say it again, bro.
That's right.
Come on.
See, no, man, they too sloppy for this. So, let me talk about this point real fast. I know, Steve, we got to get to this racism. But man, I'm just fired up. Zakia, the article initially was talking about the new Black Panther and the nation. Initially. RJN is absolutely a major player. RJN got involved when they heard that sister was coming to the event. Lori Ward, and that brother was on the panel, and that we were supposed to be doing some security. Right. So that's how all three of us came together. But to Zakia's point, why Dayton? Why leak the article in Dayton? What are they seeing in Dayton that they gotta stop?
That's right.
Come on. That's right.
So they're absolutely seeing the unity of the new Black Panther Party. They're seeing the unity of RJN. They're seeing the unity of the nation and Sankofa and all these other groups. And that is what's behind it, why they got to bust it up. But come on, let's not get sidetracked. Let's deal straight on. As opposed to pontificating and intellectual masturbating with all these damn big words. Let's not let this enemy escape like he's trying to get away, to have us fighting amongst each other, as opposed to let his ass get away.
Amen, brother. I just wanted to say real quick on this, you know, I remember when the Southern Poverty Law Center, when they first came to prominence, back in the 80s, I think it was, they sued the Ku Klux Klan, which at that time was one organization. There are a bunch of different groups now. And they bankrupted them. right? And so they gained a lot of popularity with black people because Julian Bond was involved, you know. But I think one of the things that we don't look at is that the Southern Poverty Law Center is a Jewish group. Right. Morris Dees and this Potok guy, they're Jews. They're Jews, and in America, because of the Holocaust, okay, in America, you're not allowed to speak negative against Jews, or you're considered anti-Semite. Y'all know that, right?
That's right.
And they invest a lot of money and a lot of effort into making sure, because they say that they don't want a repeat of what happened to them with Hitler.
Well, we don't either.
Okay, but that's my point. But we don't get the same respect when it comes to the Middle Passage, where
that's right.
400 million black people.
That's right.
And that's not even including all the black folks that died after we got over here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think we have to look at that because, and I think the Southern Poverty Law Center, in their attempt to balance out their criticism, they have to incorporate, they feel as though they have to incorporate some black groups. Because if you look at the Ku Klux Klan and the Oath Keepers and all of these white supremacist groups, okay, their agenda is totally different than the new Black Panther Party in the Nation of Islam. Their whole existence is based on tearing down black folks and Catholics and homosexuals and whatever. That's their whole existence. And that's not the case with the new Black Panther Party or the Nation of Islam. When they talk about we attack or malign an entire class of people, that's not what we do. And I think you need to look at that. And I think it's a matter of semantics too, because like I said earlier, when we talk about the man or the white man, we're talking about the system.
Because who's supposed to know that?
We talking about this. I'm playing that up now. Because because me and Mary right here, we good friends. We good friends. And I don't see her and think, here come that honky.
No, but the question I have, I'm just asking you a specific question.
I'm just saying.
Okay, when you say publicly,
I don't mean no harm
to people about the man or the white man, and when we're in here, we understand. But when you say it, when you put out public statements, how are the public supposed to know that you're talking about?
Well, I think that that's a challenge for us. And I remember Marlon talking about that after a forum we had, and he told us that we're going to start having to communicate a little better because people get confused on what we're actually talking about. You know what I'm saying? But one quick other thing, I think that I'm not in denial about the fact that I think that most white people in America have been affected by white supremacy. And they can live in the trailer park and they think they better than them. You know, that's just the honest truth, right? You know what I'm saying? And even black people, you know, our quest, a lot of our quest is to do what? To be like white people. To move to the suburbs, to, you know, girls straightening their hair, we get the nose job. All of that is so we can become like white folks, because that's the standard in America, right? When we was growing up, all the brothers wanted white folk, right? Right, Tyrone?
Hey,
that's them, huh? I'm your part of that.
Really? Thank you for that information.
I think from a strategy standpoint, and I did mention this at a forum out in Kettering, I can't remember what forum that was, but just from a strategy standpoint, I think we do need to change our language. I think that most black people, I'm not going to speak for all of them, but I think that when most black people speak about white supremacy, racism, they are referring to systems, whether or not they realize what a system is or not. And I think I mentioned in that discussion, that panel discussion that we had there, that I'm not concerned about individuals. An individual being biased. An individual by themselves, well, I'm going to strike that one. I was about to say that an individual by himself can't really be a racist. Right. Because you can escape an individual just by your proximity, right? Right. You can get away from that. Right. But for the most part, I think when we speak, we are speaking about systems. And I made the distinction that, and well, I've already done it, you can get away from a person who is biased against you. Let's say if you're discriminated upon on the job, well, hey, just go find another job. Wow. But when you go to that other job, and you're facing the same thing that you faced at the last job, and then you go to another job, and you keep facing the same thing, that's institutional. You can't really get away from that. From racism, you can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. Even if you have your own nation, you can't get away from racism because it's going to creep in some kind of way to exploit what it is that you have. Okay, so we do need to be very proficient in our language because it is a strategy that real intelligent folks, and see, here's another thing we need to do too. We need to identify not only the systems, what you guys call institutions. We need to start putting these elites on the firing line as well, because if anybody controls those systems or design those systems, it is going to be the very elite. So we can't let them off of the hook either. Right?
Are they individuals?
Those are individuals working in concert, so they are a system. That's right. You know, think about it now. As large as this, I use the law, and you guys know I'm a physicist, so I got to bring some of my physics terminology in there. Well, it's a term we use in physics called entropy, right? And I'm not going to get technical with the definition, but sociologists use it as well. And you can imagine taking a hot bucket of water, right, and pouring it into something like an ocean. Do you think it's going to disturb that ocean much? That's how I see an individual. An individual can't do much because this world that we live in is a reservoir of people and social activity. So one person, no, you can't drive anything. Right. But when you get a group of folks working in concert, now that's powerful. That's right. And so that's what we have to identify. I know that, I know what I do. I know I speak long-winded a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I had issue with the social justice folks just talking about police brutality. That's a system. I got an issue with that. It's political repression. If you look all over the world, that's what it's always been called from time immemorial. Politics is about people, right? That's what the ideology of that word is. It's about people. And so we got to understand that, and I'll shut up right there.
I wanted to answer Zakia's point about power. When I do believe that in order to have institutional systemic racism, you have to have power. But I believe there's all kinds of power. So I believe, for instance, that when the black people burned down the Asian people's grocery stores, that was a form of power that they exercised, and because they exercised it based on race, it could be racist. It could be racist. And I think to deny that we have power that we can use will ignore, one, the power we do have, and two, when we exercise that power in an inappropriate way, we're not willing to say that we exercise that power in an inappropriate way. So I do believe, one, it takes power. Two, in most circumstances, black people don't have power. And so in most institutions and in most systems, the power is exercised by white people. But I do believe that we have the power of the group, and that sometimes we can move the group to act. And when we move the group to act against other groups, it can be.
So
not all the time.
To the NOI and the new Black Panther Party?
I'm just answering your question about power.
Right.
I'm not at all
was my-
saying.
But
That's
that was my
what we're
basis.
trying to do. That's what we're
That was my
trying to
basis.
do because
They haven't
But
exercised any
if
power
they
to
have,
do anything. They
if
have
the
no power when it comes
SPLC
to that.
has power then, can you guys address what do you do when you have a group of, with power to make those kind of labels? And then it causes such, differences between the unity of the black community. What then do you do to address that so that when Zakia, Racial Justice Now, wants to hold an event,
Right.
and the Dayton Board School is saying, we will not attend that, support it, encourage it because of the NOI and the
Right.
Black Panther Party.
That's
They
power.
have the power.
That's
So how
right.
do you
And
do
if
that?
we have a choice that we have to make. Let's be honest here.
Gotcha.
We got a choice. We can work overtly and work in overt ways
Right.
and know that as long as we are overt, they are going to exercise their power not to listen to you.
Can I?
Or Racial Justice Now. Just, yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say,
No, that's a subordinate position.
I think the answer to that comes from the people, okay? Now, Cheryl, you remember when the original Black Panther Party, they had a slogan, all power to the people.
That's
And
right.
it wasn't just an empty symbol. It basically meant that the power belonged to the people. Wealthy people are wealthy because of their workers. That's what the Black Panther Party was all about, addressing those issues with the people. The people create the power. The answer to your question, I think, is that in Dayton, Ohio, the people have to get behind us.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in the school board meeting, the last school board meeting, when Dr. Walker and Hazel Roundtree and Ron Lee, that meeting, when those board members, when they stood up for us, then that, we exerted some power and they shut up, right? And that's what has to happen just because somebody say you something, okay? Because our people been calling me stuff all my life, you know what I'm saying? And just because somebody says that you something, don't mean that we have to give in. What we've been doing is what we did yesterday, right? We've been coming together, the Black Activists United, okay? We've been coming together and doing the good work that we've been doing, capturing the imagination of the people, and forget them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was going to have a choice. The second choice is to go on and do the work that you want to do and deal with the consequences of that. And even a third choice might be to say we're not going to do anything but storm the school board until they make a change. But there are consequences to all of those. And consequences, wait a minute, just let me say, before we rush out and do anything, I'm a worst case scenario planner, okay?
Yeah.
I don't do nothing in my life unless I look at what's the worst possible thing that could happen and can I live with if it happens. But having done that, there's a lot that I can live with, okay? And a lot that I'm willing to live with. But we never should plan on the idea that it's going to turn out well. We got to plan on, no, this might turn out very badly, and then and be prepared for it. But
no pain, no gain. The reason why we haven't progressed as black people in America is because we won't take no risk. We won't step out. Everybody is scared.
But that's not true. We have been taking risks from the time we step off the boat. And don't demean us.
I'm not demeaning. I'm not saying we reached a certain point after the civil rights movement where black people thought we had a right. Okay? You see what I'm saying? We're complacent. The masses of the people, they're either ignorant, they don't know what's going on, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
And that's not just black people.
They're either ignorant or they're afraid they're going to lose something.
That's been okay, I grew up during Jim Crow. I can tell you that the masses of people have always not been there.
That's true.
Always not been there. And that we have had, and that there's always been a few people who put themselves out there, but that the masses of people eventually benefit enough to not be scared and then move out. But what, I just don't, I guess I just don't feel like we need to talk about black people as a problem. We are not.
But SPLC.
Let me go ahead and give this definition.
It's like you said.
From
it doesn't affect us. I mean, we're having a meeting on them when we ought to be having the meeting on the school board. Because it doesn't matter what SPLC.
Let me give you the definition of racism from Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. Umar Johnson. One of the things that they were talking about was racism presupposes the ability to control people through institutions and systems. This is called institutional racism. It comes in the form of the criminal justice system, the economic system, housing, healthcare, political power structure, and educational institutions, and the overall ability to restrict access to opportunity.
Yes. That's it.
Racism is a team sport, maintained by the oppressive group members, directly or indirectly. In other words, some players are on the field, some players are cheerleaders, and some players are in the stands who are benefiting from the whole spectacle. So when we talk about racism, I have not met one new Black Panther Party member. I have not gone to one convention of the Nation of Islam. I have not attended one racial justice meeting where I have ever heard a black person say, I can't wait till we get into power to put them white people in slavery. I have never heard one black person throughout my life say, man, I can't wait till we get into power so we can lynch white people.
That's right.
I have heard black people say, man, I just want to get away from this system of white supremacy. As Brother Donald said, that for myself, when I see little white children, I don't be like, man, I wish I could just take my foot and just kick that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see white children, I don't see white people in any type of individual. I know that Sister Mary, I've known Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly went over to Iraq and put her life on the line when the U.S. was bombing Iraq. She went over there to put her life on the line. As we know, Minister Farrakhan and Father Flager. That's right. He called him a spiritual brother. So, you know, it's like what we're saying with the Southern Poverty Law Center. We have to understand, and I want to just say this, we have to understand what humanitarian aid, white humanitarian aid really means. Right? White humanitarian aid comes in the form of, did you all know that they talk about sending all these shirts and stuff over to Africa, and because they sent all these clothing over to Africa, they have totally destroyed the textile companies over in Africa. That's hate. That's hate. When we talk about their involvement in Iraq and Libya, their humanitarian aid, are they better or are they worse? So when we talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center, we have to really ask the question, are they really set up to expose hate, or are they really set up, as we were saying, to keep black people divided amongst each other? Yep. You know what I'm saying? And not able to do anything. So we want to go to our next question. We got a minute for questions. And I got to take the mic if it goes past the minute.
You might not want me to say what I'm going to say. I'll try to do it in a minute.
You got to do it in a minute, brother.
Well, the minute is up. You can give him that time.
But I have to say what I have to say.
Well, do you want to go last then? Let us ask that question, and then you see what I'm saying?
Well, whatever.
Okay, all right. We'll do it that way. All right.
I'm not going to take long, but
one minute. Don't worry about that. You can give me a minute.
I'm 100% a member of the Nation of Islam. I stand behind the Minister Farrakhan 100%. Nothing that man says is wrong. You can't prove me wrong, no way. I'm going to read the definition of hate. It says, hate is intense hostility and aversion, usually deriving from fear, anger, or sense of injury, extreme dislike, or antipathy. If we really look at it, the oppression that we've been through as a people, do you think that give us the right to have hate in our heart for all the oppression? Now, I'm not saying hate to a point where we go out and start killing people, because we don't promote violence. But as far as the definition of hate, is that we've been through that. We suffered hate. We suffer hate now. See, we hate the oppression. We hate oppression. And we are oppressed people. So we here together. And they talking about the Nation of Islam and Black Panther Party is a hate group. No, we against hate. So we hate groups that hate us. You know, we against haters. And I just want to just speak on that, just say that we not no hate group. We about love, and the Nation of Islam is a nation. Just like the United States of America, the Nation of Islam is a nation of righteous people. Islam means submission to the will of God. So we is a nation of people submitted to do with the will of God, which is righteousness, not hatred, not killing, not none of that.
Steve, I got a response to brother's question. I believe it was a question.
Yeah, it was a question.
You know, one thing that, you all may disagree, I think us being politically or being trained to be politically correct is not good.
That's right.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it slowly.
Say it one more time.
I think the way we are being trained
That's the word.
as an American people to be politically correct is not good.
Not
They ain't
good.
been politically correct with us.
What's been done to us, should we hate? Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And so that's why, see, the SPLC, they should be thankful to Brother Farrakhan. Because they should be thankful that this is a man that had 2 million men. Most of you all were there. And if he was a hate teacher, what better time? Then let's get down with it now. Just a few months ago, he had over 1 million. And guess what they criticized Brother Farrakhan for? They said he wasn't gangster enough.
That's right.
Oh yeah, because he invited everybody else.
No, but they were saying, some of the young people saying, no, the Farrakhan, he didn't really bring it.
Yeah. He bought it. That's why they was there.
So 2,000, the Million Family March, the Millions More Movement. So no, brother, I'm not going to buy into that crap.
That's right.
About, being politically correct. And see, the same type of standard that you going to put on us to dot your I and cross your T and say it the right way. Just say it to those damn white folks too.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I think it's not so much. I think our people are becoming wise, okay? If you look at the movement that's going on in Dayton, Ohio, when I met Brother Tyrone, we started doing some stuff together, me and Bishop Cox, a long time before all of these other groups re-emerged, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's an issue of us becoming wise. Like I shared earlier about the fact of messages that I got as a young man, that you ain't nobody, that you ain't worthy, and somebody like Minister Farrakhan or the Black Panther Party comes along and teaches me about my true nature. That's a good thing. That's a wise thing. I think that the minister and myself and Brother Tyrone and others, we express what we express with passion. And sometimes people get passion confused with hate. Especially in America, like Brother said, we've been taught to say things in a politically correct way, a nice way, or we're not going to accept you. But it's very hypocritical because Donald Trump ain't doing nothing according to the way nobody want him to do it. And the Tea Party and the Republican Party for years and years, this ain't just starting with them. Fox News for years and years and years has been a hate group. But they not on the list. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and we can't afford to continue to be in denial about the fact that them people hate us. I got some more. I'm not saying hate them back. I told you I was a Christian, so I don't believe in hate back. But let me tell you that when God told Nehemiah to rebuild the wall around the city, okay, and the enemies came upon the city trying to thwart his work, God told him, get you some spears and some bow and arrows and kill them, and to keep them from destroying what I got you building up. That's the way I look at it. I look at it like it's about self-defense. That's why they call the Black Panther Party the Black Panther Party for self-defense. I think that's what Minister Farrakhan is. He's teaching us how to defend ourselves. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
I promise you, I ain't.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give Professor Benelli Randall a round of applause.
Oh my God.
All right. And we have a few more questions. One of the things that I just wanted to say once again, as Brother Tyrone and Brother Dominique is saying, when we talk about hate, we have to understand that the minister teaches us to direct our hate in a positive way. So for instance, he teaches us to hate smoking, to hate putting that white powder in our nose, to hate abusing our women, to hate eating the wrong food. This is a positive way that the enemy doesn't want you because they capitalize off of our ignorance of this system. So we're going to go with my brother. I'm gonna just, if you all can ask your questions because we're running short on time.
That's okay. I'm gonna get out of here.
I mean, did you want to make it?
Yeah, I wanted to make a statement, but
All right.
I just want to say this. The Dayton School Board owes the black community, Racial Justice Now, the Black Panther Party, and the Nation of Islam an apology.
That's right.
We need to go to that school board and demand that you apologize to us.
April 19th.
Well, April 9th, okay, and if they don't do it, hell, let them just lock them in there. You might have to go to jail over this thing. I'm gonna tell you what they're scared of. When they killed Dante Price, and they said that it was justifiable homicide, and we came out and said it was murder, and I reached out to the Blue Black Panther, Marvin Artists, I reached out to the nation, that scared the hell out of them. It scared them to death. And I'm going to tell you something else. We're not finished with Dante Martin. I've got a news conference coming up in about 3 weeks to let them know what they did. They see all of us getting together as a team, and it has scared the hell out of them. And they are scared of our unity. They're scared of the fact that we ain't sleep. They're scared of the fact that we gonna unite and we're not gonna take it no more. They're scared of that. And no, if you go in droves to that school board meeting, we scared them so bad to the city put a warrant out for my arrest when Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I fought them and had a march, and marching in the police department wouldn't protect me, and nobody downtown knew where the warrant come from. I went into court and told the judge I ain't coming back no more. That judge is dead now. He's in the ground. Here's my point. My point is, let's go to the school board, because if they don't look at it, it's going to be a hate group. But then don't call on this hate group when them students start whooping those white policemen's asses for guarding them, and they know they're going to do